Good afternoon or evening, everyone. It's Arnie here at Pepper Tree Villa. It's time for PTV JuLive. How are you doing? Hope you're having a great day. I am actually in a spare room here in my office building at the moment. So we're gonna have a little fun here and discuss a little bit of what went on this day in Disney history. And I'm just doing a little adjusting here as I get the camera angle just right. So I think that's about it. And hey, only passengers, hello Charles, how you doing? At work watching. Thank you so much, Charlie. It is July 29th today. So I am going to be discussing all things Disney from July 29th throughout the years. On this day, July 29th, 1922, the first Laugh-O-Gram cartoon was ever produced. Oh, hello, Rachel, how you doing? Actually, it's Shelley. How are ya? Good to see you there. The first Laugh-O-Grams cartoon named Little Red Riding Hood was released today. It was a silent black and white short, and it was the first full-length cartoon that Walt Disney had produced for his Laugh-O-Grams company. Now, this is the company that went bankrupt prior to him moving from the Midwest out to Los Angeles to join his brother Roy, and then they formed the Disney Brothers studio in 1923. Hello, Mike Wheeler, thanks for being here. Hello, Nathan, thanks for joining. Looks like Mike is ready to rock and roll. And only passengers, thank you. Yeah, Laugh-O-Grams, awesome. So that was the first full-length cartoon. I guess it was probably about 7-8 minutes, but prior to that, it had only been 1 minute that he'd produced. So let's jump forward a few decades, actually. In 1966, Disney released a comedy film, a live-action comedy called Lieutenant Robin Crusoe USN. Most of you have probably never heard of this movie. It starred Dick Van Dyke, who had just finished starring in Mary Poppins along with Julie Andrews. It's a comedy take on the story Robinson Crusoe, but it's about a Navy guy who is a Navy pilot who becomes a castaway on a tropical island. And Dick Van Dyke is that guy. And there's a character also that provides a character actor who provides the narration for the film. The actor's name is Richard Deacon. I don't know if it was because Dick Van Dyke was on the show and he talked to the producers and got Richard Deacon involved, but Richard Deacon also was an actor on the Dick Van Dyke show at that time in the 60s. So, okay, let's go ahead and jump forward to some more years now. 1988, the romantic drama Cocktail is released by Touchstone Pictures. Now, I must confess, I have never seen this movie, but it starred Tom Cruise as bartender. That's about all I know about the movie. So I'll have to watch it sometime, maybe. I guess I could watch it. 1998, another movie is released. Hi, Amy, how you doing? Good to have you here. 1998, another movie is released by Walt Disney Pictures, and this time it is a remake of an old familiar classic, The Parent Trap, but this time it stars Dennis Quaid and Natasha Richardson as the couple that is divorced and separate their twins at birth. Hey, Patrick, Zippity Doodad, how you doing? Good to see that. Oh, Nathan, you saw the Cocktail movie. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've never seen it. So the movie Parent Trap is released in 1998. This is actually the first film that starred Lindsay Lohan, and she played twin sisters. So that started her film career. The next year, 1999, something happens at Walt Disney World. It is an opening by special invitation only for the attraction Rock and Roller Coaster. So it was, Aerosmith were the guests of honor that day. And then the ride officially opens to the public the next day. Yes, Mike, that is the one with Lindsay Lohan, the Parent Trap version from 1998. So in 99, Rock and Roller Coaster opened, and then a year later, to celebrate the first anniversary, they took 80, I think it was Corvettes. They took 80 Corvettes and they formed the guitar that they have on the outside of the building. So kind of a nod to it. So pretty cool. In 2007, Disney's Broadway musical Beauty and the Beast comes to an end. So on this day in 2007, Beauty and the Beast ended its run at the It was at the Lunt-Fontanne Theater in New York. I know that only because I have been to the Lunt-Fontanne to see the musical that replaced Beauty and the Beast in that theater, and that musical was The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid did not run nearly as long, but let's see. This is the one that I mentioned in my first hello when I was ready for the rock and roll. I had a feeling that was why you mentioned rock and roll. Thanks, Mike. So the musical Broadway musical Beauty and the Beast ended its run on this day in 2007 to make room for The Little Mermaid. And like I said, The Little Mermaid did not run nearly as long, but I did see the show when it was running on Broadway with the original cast, and I liked it. It wasn't fantastic like, say, The Lion King or Beauty and the Beast, but it was still good. And then in 2008, a year later, July 29th, 2008, there was an earthquake in Southern California, 5.8 magnitude earthquake. It hits in the area of Chino Hills. Chino Hills is about 20 miles from Disneyland. So it struck at 11:45. That is a pretty strong jolt. It's not a major earthquake, but it's a strong jolt. And so they evacuated all the attractions at the Disneyland Resort at that time. That's both parks that they did that to. And then most of the attractions were open by evening. So most of the day from 11:45 in the morning until the evening, most of the attractions finally opened. And then in 2011, these will be my last couple of things that I mentioned. In 2011, they finish the removal of the Golden Gate Bridge at California Adventure. Now, at this point, California Adventure has been going through a major renovation to change the look, the feel. When the park originally opened in 2001, it was not as successful as they wanted it to be. They actually had some major problems with the park. It opened with a lot of restaurants, a lot of shopping, and very few attractions. So they needed to fix it and fix it quickly. They opened a Bug's Land rather, and they also opened Tower of Terror. Those were both opened within 3 years of the park opening. And then after that point, they started to add attractions and then started taking away things like, well, I'll be frank with you on this one. There was an area called Bountiful Valley Farm, and they actually considered a John Deere tractor an attraction. You climbed up on, it was either John Deere or Caterpillar, but you climbed up into a attraction and sat in the seat. They considered that an attraction. Now, you can have an attraction like that, or you can have a roller coaster. I would choose the roller coaster anytime over just sitting in a tractor, which was stationary. That was grasping at straws. That was being cheap. And management got the message from the public. And so they said, that's it. We got to fix this. And they did. And at that point, they had torn down the facade of the Golden Gate Bridge and made it look more like a bridge in the Los Feliz area of Southern California, which is where Walt Disney grew up and had his, or not grew up, but had most of his adult life. So it looks much more like Los Angeles when Walt Disney was there. Yeah, you know, Nathan, it's sort of hard to have an amusement park in the former parking lot. I agree. That's why we called it that park in the parking lot for so long. Now it's finally a full-fledged amusement theme park. It really is a nicely done park now. And I just can't wait to see what they do with Stark Industries and the Marvel universe that they're adding, which is supposedly opening next year, but we'll see what happens. Oh, thank you, Only Passengers. Yeah, please make sure you hit that like button. I always forget to ask people to do that. So thank you so much for doing that for me. So that was in 2011. And the other thing in 2011, and this is actually took place in Utah. So kind of cool at this one. There was a parade of homes, and it's, let's see, according to my notes, I have the Salt Lake Home Builders Association hosted the 65th annual Salt Lake Parade of Homes. And it started this day through August 14th in 2011. And at that point, they had, let's see, it's the longest consecutive running parade of homes. in the United States. And in this case, what they did was they had one home on the tour that featured a home that looked just like Carl and Ellie Fredrickson's home from the movie Up. The company that built it asked for special dispensation and permission to build a home that looked just like Carl Fredrickson's house that floated away with the thousands of balloons to South America. It was painted in vibrant sherbet shades and comes complete with Carl and Ellie's hand-printed mailbox and a custom-made garden hose reel. And like I said, they sought permission from the Disney Entertainment Group before proceeding with that, and they did some Imagineering of their own to build the house. And I've seen pictures of it, and it actually really did look like Carl Fredrickson's house. It's pretty darn cool. So that is about it for today in Disney history. I thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to like this, leave a comment after the stream. Go ahead and just drop a comment in and tell me what you liked about the video. I'm going to continue doing PTV JuLive for the next couple of days to finish up the month of July, and then continue later on this week in August with your daily dose of Disney. And then tomorrow morning, there will be, hi Greg, thanks for joining. On tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern, Ben will be releasing his latest episode of Life with Ben. And it's going to be a video that is going to be dedicated to the technology challenged people. So that is PTV JuLive for today. Hi, Amy. Thank you so much, AJC Magic TV. Thank you all villagers for being here and spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. Hello, Nathan Retta. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate all the time that you've spent with me this afternoon. And go out, have a magical evening, and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye, everyone.